We're getting ready for the Positively Petland show here on 800 KXIC. That voice in the background is Ron Salzwood with Petland of Iowa City. I'm Mark Pitts. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
And let's start off by telling a little bit about the store, Petland of Iowa City. Who you are, what you do.
We're Petland of Iowa City. We're the land of pets, where you can come in and have fun with all the pets that we have, from small animals to fish to reptiles to puppies to sometimes kittens. We do unplanned litters from the community, and right now we have no unplanned litters. That somewhat is a good thing, but we love to have kittens, so we're always looking for them. Then you can also come in and look at our supplies and all that kind of stuff. We have over 40 different brands of dog food in our store. It's just crazy. And all of them are on a buy 10, get one free. We track it for you. Then you can also visit our store just to, hey, my dog needs a nail trim. Just bring in your vaccination schedule. We'll get you trimmed up, get a little manicure for your dog, your cat, or your furry friend. And it's only $5. You can't beat a $5 nail trim.
5-spot. That's pretty good. That's a great deal.
That's a great deal. So that's a little bit. And then today we are open from noon until 6. All other days we're open from 10 a.m. until 9 p.m. But today, noon until 6. So steer that car in that direction so that you get there at noon.
Okay. Ron Salzwood with Petland of Iowa City. We'll get to our amazing pet story of the week. But before we get to that, let's give us a preview of what our topics of conversation are for this week's show.
So we're going to talk about the Shih Tzu, which is a dog from the Orient. This is one of those breeds that go way, way, way back in history, and you'll be amazed on what it was like back then and the path that this Shih Tzu has had to go through in order to be with us today here. So we're going to ask the question, is that the right breed for your family? And we'll give you a good flavor of it, and you can answer that question. And then we're going to switch to guinea pigs. Maybe you're like, you know what, I don't have time right now for a dog, but I really would like to get something. A guinea pig is an awesome pet to have, and we're going to review that, give you a flavor of what that experience will be like, so you can make a decision. Is that a better choice for your family to have a guinea pig?
So that's coming up here on today's Positively Petland show, and throughout the show we will over enunciate Shih Tzu so that we get it right throughout the entire program. So that's coming up.
Don't want to get in trouble
on KXIC. Well, I get enough trouble of my own without your help. So let's get to this.
It's time for the amazing pet story of the week.
And today we're going to talk about Buddy. When Ben Heinrich's workshop caught fire in April of 2010, he turned to his German Shepherd, Buddy, and said, "We need to get help." Heinrichs was exclaiming out, yeah, we really need to get help. Heinrichs was exclaiming out loud, not commanding his pooch. So when Buddy ran off, the last thing he expected was that Buddy would return with just that, help. A state trooper's dashboard camera actually caught Buddy on tape as he ran out to the road, signaled for attention, and led the trooper back to the fire. How about that?
That's pretty dang cool.
I wonder what he did to signal for attention.
Like
just bark. Waving a little parade.
Well, he talked earlier in the story there. I love that. You need me to get help? Okay, we'll go.
Okay.
He goes out. I need help. Hand up, paw up. I like it.
Doing his parade paw.
Yes.
That doesn't really play well on radio, but that's the kind of general gist. But did you ever notice that whenever somebody does an imitation of a dog speaking, everybody kind of goes, "Well, I'm a puppy dog." Everybody uses the same voice. I wonder if they actually sound like that. And what is that? The voice the dogs hear in their head?
That's what they sound like when we're not there. It's kind of like, do you hear the tree fall thing?
It's kind of like the teacher on Peanuts. Wah, wah, wah,
yeah.
wah, wah, wah,
that's what
wah,
they hear.
Wah.
Oh, yes. Well, you know that because their head turns and they're like, what?
Anyway, so he signaled for attention and led the trooper back to the fire. The trooper then directed the fire department to the scene, where they were able to put out the blaze before it spread to the family's home. Buddy was given an award and a silver-plated bowl from the Alaska State Troopers for his heroism, and that is thanks to Buddy, who led the police to his owner's burning home.
Wow.
So
I like it.
That's our amazing pet story of the week. So that's right here on the Positively Petland show here on 800 KXIC. We're going to take a break here in just a bit. Ron, let's talk a little bit more about the store again, who you are, where you're at, how to find you guys.
So Petland, locally owned and operated by myself and my wife, Wendy. We have been owning the store, for 11 years of its 15-year life. We're getting actually ready for a remodel of the store. And so we're in the beginning phases of that. And we can't wait to see that happen, because we have enjoyed this experience with Iowa City, Coralville, and the surrounding towns, just having fun. If you haven't been in Petland, you'd be amazed on. Everybody goes, holy cow, this place is packed.
Yeah.
And it always is. And it's because we are one of the few places where you can go to play with pets and say, hey, is this the right pet? And we'll educate you. We'll get the books out. We'll say, hey, this is what it's all about, kind of thing. Not just our opinion, but also what's the facts about it. Then you can make an educated decision of, well, what do I want to do? So not only do we do that with the pets, because we've got the puppies and the kittens and the rabbits and the guinea pigs and the ferrets and all the way down to fish and reptiles and all that kind of stuff. But we also have all of our products. We have a full line of products for all of those furry and scaly friends, and we'll help you educate that. So maybe you're looking at food and you're like, I'd like to do something different for my dog because I've heard about there's better food out there. We'll educate you through the process. There is a lot of misinformation out there, and we try to help you through that misinformation and say, hey, this is the fact. It's actually not more expensive to feed higher quality food. And here is your variety that you can choose from, and then help you make that decision. So that's good education. Absolutely.
That's Ron Salzwood with Petland of Iowa City. Ron's going to fly kind of solo here on the second segment, the main segment of the show. I'm Mark Pitts. Before we turn you loose on the public here by yourself. No, I was going to ask you, we had our amazing pet story here, and we're hearing, I just want to get to some of your thoughts on, the situation in the Hurricane Harvey in Houston and the devastation, down in Texas, and where we've had stories here on KXIC about the Animal Rescue League going down there, bringing dogs back, pets back to rescue them, but also to rehabilitate them and get them ready for adoption, things like that. But as you, as an owner of Petland and in the business of pets, what are some of your thoughts about when you hear some of the sad stories, but also the stories of rescue and survival when it comes to some of the animals?
It reminds me so much of when we had our flood. And I would propose that our flood was a little more devastating, maybe not in magnitude of the flood aspect of it, but the impact on our community. One of the things that I thought of is, their population and the percent population that's impacted right now. Think of Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, that population, and the much larger percentage impact on the population that we had here. And then it just goes back to, there's so many emotions from our flood, and they're going through it down there. I remember one story, we were bringing in product into the city before the flood occurred because we knew it was coming, like days, weeks before, or week. And so we were literally shipping product in to our store because we knew the shelters were going to need it and all that kind of stuff. The one thing that, there's food and kennels and all that kind of stuff you would anticipate. The one item that they said, it was Cedar Rapids. We called them, they called us. I don't even remember how we started the conversation. And I just said, what do you guys need up there that you're not getting? And they go, Petland boxes. I went, what? Zoinks?
Petland boxes.
Petland boxes. I go, tell me more. What do you mean by that? They go, those boxes that you send the small animals home in, the rabbits and the guinea pigs and stuff? And I go, yeah, we need those.
Oh, okay.
And I go, what do you need them for? And they go, we are getting a flood of kittens and cats in right now. And when we then send them back out with our owners, and by the way, we had record in this regard, we took back our pets at a very high percentage, which is unusual in these flood situations. And they said, we need boxes to put the cats in because they're already wigged out. And and when they go home, we want them in there so that they just, get as calm as possibly, get back to their family, get back to their, so they need these boxes. And I go, how many? 800. And I went, again, zoinks. I called the manufacturer of that. And I said, can you donate 800 Petland boxes? I need them here within a day or two. There wasn't even a hesitation. It was yes, and they were there. When I showed up with the boxes, and it was right as the waters were, like I could still get up there easily, put them in my truck, got them up there. I came in, it was late evening. I'm thinking the sun was still up. But you're talking 7, 8 o'clock kind of a thing. Walk in with these boxes. I go, hey, where do you guys want me to put these boxes? I'm here. They cried. And again, I was like, whoa, that was not the reaction I was thinking. They were so tired from being up so long, taking in so many pets, hearing so many stories of the families, that they were exhausted emotionally and physically. And I said, I feel you, and holy cow, how can I help you more, kind of a thing. And I got the boxes in and all that kind of stuff. But all the emotions that we can relate with from having the same situation here is going down there, and our hearts go out to them.
Yeah, and I imagine, because those are people that really have a love for animals, so when you show up with those boxes, like, I can't believe that. Yeah. What a help.
Yeah. So simple though, but yes, they appreciate everything that comes their way.
That's a great story. Ron Salzwood with Petland Ron Salzwood with Petland of Iowa City will continue with the Positively Petland show, coming up with more of that right here on 800 KXIC and KXIC.com. I'm Mark Pitts. Good morning. 800 KXIC. This is the Positively Petland show with Ron Salzwood of Petland of Iowa City. I'm Mark Pitts. I'm going to step aside here in just a bit and let Ron take it from here. But again, coming up on this week's show, he's got the Shih Tzu is the breed of the week. He's also going to talk to you a little bit about guinea pigs and other maybe small animals that you might consider as a pet, if maybe a dog or cat might be too much responsibility for you. And Ron, I will turn it over to you here. Positively Petland show on KXIC.
Thank you, Mark. We're going to start off with the Shih Tzu. Is talking about, is this the right breed for your family? We talk a lot about all the different puppies and different pets that we have at the store. And I always like to review what is it that your family is ready for right now? Some people at this point are thinking, I want a dog, I want a dog, I want a dog. But then you also know, what? It might not be the right thing right now for having a puppy, a dog in your home because of where you're at. And so we like to look at different breeds, different pets for you. And that's what we do when you come into our store, is what is the right pet for your family. And then we want to help you meet the needs of both you and the pet. So it's all about education. So for the Shih Tzu, this is one of those breeds that I say, when I'm asking, our customers, when you come into our store, I ask, what do you know about dogs? What is it that you're looking for? If you are one of those that say, I need something simple, I've never owned a dog in my life, kind of a thing, my go-to is a Shih Tzu, because the Shih Tzu has some qualities that make it a lot easier for you. The Shih Tzu is fairly a quiet dog. You almost have to force it to bark. All dogs bark. I'm not saying that they don't bark, but this one has a strong tendency to not bark. And so it's a quiet dog in that way. It's a fun, loving dog. And so it's one of those, you don't have to train it to be that way. It just goes. It's downhill, kind of thing. It's just easy to socialize them in that way, and they just love you. And we're going to hear about the Shih Tzu here in a moment, and AKC is going to say similar things. The only thing that you want to watch out for on the Shih Tzu is that a positive is that it's a non-shedding dog. So everybody loves those. Oh, I don't want a shedding dog. Just know that if you get a non-shedding dog, there's more grooming then that you have to work on. If you want it low maintenance, then you're going to probably go to the groomer once a month to have that coat cut down so that it's easy to maintain. If you like it a little longer because of the looks and stuff like that, then you're going to go month and a half, 2 months to 3 months on that. But then just know that you're going to be doing more brushing and primping and things like that. Just to make the little Shih Tzu look pretty or handsome, and do that. So there is a little bit more maintenance on that non-shedding aspect. So AKC does a wonderful job of describing these different breeds, and the Shih Tzu we have not reviewed for a while on here. So I wanted to get through it. And go through it. So first we go through history of the Shih Tzu, and I think this is fascinating where they originate. And I always pose to Jerry, but he's not in the studio. Jerry, where are you? Where does the Shih Tzu originate from? So I'm going to put that out to you. So you just think of it real quick. Where does the Shih Tzu? I think it's kind of obvious, but let's see if you got it right. Although its origins are shrouded in mystery, the Shih Tzu was probably one of a number of lion-like small dogs associated with the spread of Buddhism from India to Tibet. And I think I pronounced that word wrong, but I'm sorry. In fact, Shih Tzu means lion. After being sent to the Chinese emperors as tribute, early Shih Tzus may have been crossed with such similar breeds as the Pekingese Pug and Japanese Chin. So that's telling me that the Shih Tzu dates back after the Pekingese Pug and Japanese Chin, and the Pekingese I think goes to 2500 BC. So this breed has been around for quite a long time. The distinctive breed we know today evolved mostly under the Qing Dowager Empress Zhu. Hissy, it just kept on going. I'm sorry on that, and I really brutalized it, but that was one of those dynasties from the past, way past. The Shih Tzu was highly prized as a companion in the royal court and was almost impossible to acquire for export. So they stayed within the country for and I do mean quite a long time. Fine specimens, often trimmed to resemble lions, so that's what they did in the past, appear on scrolls and tapestries. The breed became extinct in China after 1949. Isn't that interesting? Due to the Communist Revolution because of its association with wealth and privilege. I thought that was an interesting era then, in that we almost lost the Shih Tzu during the Communist Revolution. And it's interesting, the wealth and privilege. So they were really down in that during the revolution. So therefore, modern Shih Tzus trace back to just 6 dogs and 7 bitches. Those are the ladies. Brought to England and Scandinavia by diplomats stationed in China. Not to mention a black and white Pekingese deliberately crossed with a Shih Tzu in England in 1952. They didn't go too much into that one. That was interesting. Why was it deliberately? They made a big point of that. The breed was admitted into the miscellaneous class in 1955 for AKC, which is also interesting because the Shih Tzu seems to me to be like one of those purebreds that go back so far. Why didn't we adopt it in quicker? But it did gain full recognition in 1969 as an AKC purebred. After recognition, it swiftly became one of the most popular breeds in the United States. So what's it like to have a Shih Tzu? Today's Shih Tzus, like his Chinese ancestors, makes an ideal pet. While the breed standard allows for considerable size variations, a proper Shih Tzu should always carry good weight and substance. So the Shih Tzu, they didn't get into the size here or give you a feel for it. They are a small, medium dog. Shih Tzu is not a tiny dog by any means. They're going to be in the teens as far as weight goes, which kind of means that it's that smaller dog, but not a tiny dog running around your house. You're not going to miss this one. This is going to be one of those, if you let the hair grow out, it's going to be this mop that's running around the house. So it might do a little bit of maintenance on the floors for you if you let it. So that's the size of the Shih Tzu. This small, sturdy breed is a big dog in a little package, small enough for apartment life, but athletic enough to enjoy a good walk or a romp in a fenced yard. As befits its noble ancestry, the Shih Tzu is proud by bearing with a distinctively arrogant carriage. it's kind of a sturdy dog as far as that goes. And I think that's what they're trying to say there. His unique, warm, sweet, wide-eyed, friendly, and trusting expression reflects his affection temperament. Another distinctive characteristic is the breed's long and luxurious double coat, which comes in a wide variety of colors, markings that were once prized by the palace eunuchs who were charged to carry for these imperial pets. I bet you didn't plan on tuning into the pet show and hearing the word eunuch in there. So the Shih Tzu has a very flavorful history, is a very wonderful pet. And the AKC goes on, living with a Shih Tzu. A Shih Tzu is very adaptable and not at all high strung. So if you're like, I like those Yorkies, but it's a terrier. If you're in that boat, go more towards the Shih Tzu or a Shih Tzu mix. His main goal in life is to please you. If you want to play, your Shih Tzu will be eager to join in the game. If you are busy, he will sleep or amuse himself. So I do love that aspect, because here's a dog that will, oh, you don't want to play with me today or this hour or whatever, I'm going to go find something fun to do. And it's usually not that mischievous type of attitude. It's go get the toy and chew on the toy for a while kind of a thing. Everyone, large and small, canine and human, is a friend to this little one. In fact, a burglar might receive a guided tour. So this is getting back to, it's kind of a quiet dog, and it's very friendly with even strangers. And I think that's a funny way of pointing that out. In fact, a burglar might receive a guided tour. Nevertheless, the Shih Tzu can sometimes be stubborn and may try to charm and kiss their way out of being groomed or trained. Use generous praise and positive reinforcement rather than making training a battle of wills. Be firm but calm, and always end on a positive note. I think this is one of those breeds where it's going to pick up what you're laying down as far as training goes over time. So frequency and consistency is always key for training. And I think that's going to be really true for the Shih Tzu. There's other breeds where I think on that scale of, they always say, is it a smart dog, kind of a thing. I personally don't think having a smart dog is always the best case for training. Shih Tzus are not noted as being that really highly intelligent, I pick it up quick dog. But when they figure it out through your training, which is consistent and the frequency is abundant, they then go, oh, okay, I see what you're trying to get me to do. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. And then just like us, if it takes us a little while to figure it out, we then learn it more permanently. And so that it stays there, and I'm going to do it every single time kind of a thing. So potty training is going to be that way. Maybe an accident or two kind of a thing. Put some boundaries on the Shih Tzu as far as using your kennel and all that. And then they're going to go, okay, I get it. You're not in the house. And then you're going to praise them heavily when they do their business while they're doing their business outside. And they're going to go, whoa, I like this treatment. And then say, I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold it next time because I want to get more of that treatment, whether it's a treat or a little scratch on the jowl while they're doing their business outside. Don't wait till they, 10 seconds later or when you come in the house, they think coming in the house is why you're giving them praise. Give it to them while they're doing their business, and they'll figure it out over time with frequency. The first time you do it, they're going to go, well, that was neat. Second time, they're going to say, oh, I like this. But on the 10th or 20th time, they're going to go, wait, when I pee outside, you give me praise. I'm going to hold my peace so I can do that more, kind of thing. So a Shih Tzu will pick it up over time, but then be loyal and keep on doing it in the future. A really smart dog like a poodle and some other breeds, they're going to go, okay, I get it. You want me to go outside? Got it. But what if I go over here in this corner of the house? Is this okay too? They're going to do like a strong-willed child. They're going to test you and say, well, I know you don't want me to do it in here because that you didn't like that. But what about over here? Can I do it over here? Do you give me the treat when I do it over here? That, and that's those smart dogs you kind of get a little frustrated with because they do it. They test it. They do figure it out quickly. Because then they go, well, wait, I'm not seeing any give on this one. You only give me the treat when I do it outside. So then they modify their behavior. So that's the Shih Tzu. Wonderful dog, calm, easy, fun. and a great pet to bring to your family. So that's the Shih Tzu in a nutshell. Then we get to, so maybe a dog is not quite your cup of tea as far as a pet goes. So you might want to then consider other pets, if that's what you want. Hey, I want to get something for my family or for myself, but a dog is too much commitment right now. And so you can always then look at other options that you have and say, is this the right pet for the family that you've got going right now, whether it's yourself or more? So the guinea pig is a great place to go and say, is this the place that I want to go? I personally, this was our first official pet when I was growing up. The guinea pig was yeah, I think we were in the pet store at that time, and we were trying to figure it out. And I believe the family, mom and dad, we were all about, hey, we need to do something. I get it. They had a little litter of guinea pigs in the store at that time, and I remember there was 5 of us kids, and that's why I think my parents said no to the dog, no to the cat. We've got enough work in our family right now, but we will consider and look at the guinea pig. And so I remember my sister, my next oldest sibling sister, Lynn, put her hand in with all the babies in there, and they all ran away except for one. And she goes, I picked this one. And we all looked at her and said, why? And she goes, it didn't run away. And so we had Wilbur. We ended up naming our guinea pig after Charlotte's Web and all that, and had Wilbur as our pet. And to this day, I have so many precious memories of taking care of Wilbur. So I was a little younger when we got him, but a little older as Wilbur grew up, and made the transition because my parents held me accountable and held us accountable on taking care of different aspects of our guinea pig. So I was in charge of, and I don't know how I got it, but I was in charge of cleaning the habitat once a week. I don't remember what my other siblings had, but one was in charge of the water, one was in charge of the food, one was in charge of the hay, all that kind of stuff. And so we had our own tasks that we had to take care of over the life of Wilbur, who lived to a very old age for a guinea pig, 8 years. And so that was a wonderful experience, and smells and sights and all that kind of stuff still bring me back to those times. So that's a wonderful thing to have for your child, or even for yourself at an older age. You'll reflect back on these days and say, gosh, that was just a wonderful pet. Some aspects that I loved about Wilbur, and remember to this day, and other guinea pig owners will relate with it, learned that if we would give him vegetables from our refrigerator, so fresh vegetables, in addition to the food that we were feeding them from the store. And so it learned that when the refrigerator, that kind of the kissing sound of a refrigerator door opening up, that sound he associated, and this is when we get back to training any pet, frequency, consistency. Well, he consistently heard that sound, then he would get a carrot or or a vegetable, and associated that. So now whenever we opened up the refrigerator, Wilbur would start squeaking and saying, hey, don't forget about me. I'm down here. I want my carrot, kind of a thing. And we loved that. That was so much fun, because whenever we opened it up, he would get something. And he was part of the family. He's like, don't forget about me. I want my carrot, 3 times a day or whatever it was that we gave it to him. And so that was just fun interaction. And then another thing that we did as kids is, we would be watching Saturday morning cartoons, or we would be playing with our Legos or Lincoln Logs or whatever it was in the family room. We'd have Wilbur out with us, and if we were reading a book or watching TV, Wilbur would be in our laps, and we would just have fun. He'd be, just chilling with us and having fun that way. And then if we were playing on the ground, he'd be running around with us. We did have that room cordoned off so that we wouldn't lose Wilbur. Wilbur might go under stuff to hang out and all that kind of stuff, and we'll actually tell you why that would happen. But we just had a lot of playtime. So there's 5 of us kids, and boy, Wilbur probably spent very few hours in his cage, and probably when he got into his cage had oh gosh, I need to rest. These guys are just overwhelming. So we had a lot of fun with Wilbur. So that's a little bit about what you're going to experience by having a guinea pig. A little bit about the nuts and bolts of guinea pigs. They originate from South America, and have propagated up here as pets and stuff for a long time now. I'm seeing 1960s is kind of when they came up into the America. Probably were here long before that. A little bit about the care of them. We're going to go through 4 different areas: behavioral maintenance, environmental, and nutritional aspects of a guinea pig. So in the behavioral category, and this is stuff that we educate you on in the store. We actually have little cheat sheets for you, and we can go through it with you as well. But you're going to want to get a cage that's big enough for the pet, because they do spend a good amount of time. So now within that cage, you want to set up the habitat to meet the needs of your pet. So a hideout is one of the first things that you want to have for most small animals, and a guinea pig is definitely. It's a way for them to mellow out, to de-stress, kind of a thing. So if your children have some friends over and they're getting a little wily, you set a rule. Hey, if little Jimmy goes underneath into the house, you can't touch him. It's his timeout area, kind of thing. So that is exactly what it's for. It originates from when they're in the wild. What does a guinea pig do if it sees a bird coming after them or senses danger? It's then going to go underneath something. And so a hideout is a defense mechanism for them, and a way for them to stress out or to de-stress and get away from all the stress. So that's one of the first things you want to have. Know that an exercise wheel is not appropriate for a guinea pig, and it's due to the structure of their back. So don't get one of those, or if you have one for your guinea pig, it's not a good thing to have them in an exercise wheel or a ball. It's the torque that occurs on their back. They're not designed to bend that way, kind of a thing. You want to have plenty of chews for your guinea pig, and again, for most small animals. Why? Because their front teeth continue to grow. The consistency or the density of their teeth are somewhere between our teeth and our fingernails. It's not really hard. It's a little softer, and I don't know any scientists that have ventured to say, why do they continue to grow? Why did this mammal end up going in that direction? But they do need to wear themselves down. So you're going to need plenty of chews. And we always just say, have 5 different chews available in your habitat so that they can chew for different reasons. There's a wonderful, we have a huge assortment of chews in our store. The one that I like the most is this. It looks like a log, a small log. It's made out of like a lava-y type structure. So it's abrasive, and that's what wears down the teeth. But inside the log, there's all these seeds and nuts and stuff like that they can go after. So they have this tendency to want to go after that food, and then in the process they wear their teeth down using the log and all that kind of stuff. So having plenty of chews, treat sticks, and other treats for training. So you can train your guinea pig in some minor ways. You can potty train them, but you can also help them learn. And the kid, your children are going to have fun trying to do this. You can try with the stay kind of a thing. No, stay. And then when they do stay, you give them a treat. If they don't stay, they don't get the treat, kind of a thing. So you can work with the treat sticks and the treats in that way. Yogurt drops is a nice little treat for them. A collar and lead. Now, if I say you can put the guinea pig on a collar and lead, I think a lot of you are going, what the nut? A collar and lead is a great way for a child or a parent to interact with your guinea pig or small animal outside the house. I always say it's a great way to interact with them. Just don't think you're going to take the guinea pig for a walk. They're going to more take you for the walk. Let them wander around and discover, and let your child then observe. You can make it into a game and say, hey, let's observe our little guinea pig on the behaviors it does while it's outside. So you're going to see it, kind of romp through the grass. You're going to find it stop at the dandelions and take a chew and go, yum, yum, I'm going to eat more of that, kind of a thing. So collar and lead is a wonderful way to get on the front end to work with your guinea pig, or on the back end. Let's say you got a little small animal at home, but your child is not interactive anymore. Get a collar and lead for them. And so, and reintroduce them and say, let's observe the pet on what it does on the outside. Books are wonderful on any topic. I love books because the internet is full of people's opinions. And when I read through things on guinea pigs, puppies, and all that kind of a thing, I find a lot of false information going out. It's one person's opinion kind of a thing. Books are wonderful because they've been researched, edited, reviewed, critiqued. There's a lot of process that goes through to make sure it's valid information. So a good book on guinea pigs is something that you'll want to search out. Going on to environmental. The cage, just get a nice size cage for your guinea pig, and don't scrimp on the size. I know everybody goes, I'm going to save $10 by, going to a smaller one. Just realize this is where they're going to stay, and it's bigger the better kind of a thing. You're going to get a water bottle at the beginning. You can even have a water dish in there to get their hydration. Just make sure you change that water out every day. And there's some additives. Realize that if you are sensitive to animal smells, you can put an additive in the water that deodorizes that pet. And it's a wonderful product. A lot of families have said, holy moly, that made the difference for us in our family. We talked about food bowls. A ceramic dish is always a good one. It's going to last the longest because if you get a plastic one, they're going to chew it up. Just realize that. Carriers are all fun, again, for your pet to bring them to a friend's house or to school and all that kind of stuff. So there's carriers that are great for that. A brush for the guinea pig. Realize it's a shedding animal. They do have little furminators for small animals, and they do work really well. And they will decrease the amount of shed that you see, on your lap as you're petting your little guinea pig, or on the sofas and all that kind of stuff, or rug. So brushes are vital for a guinea pig, and a furminator will help you decrease the amount of shedding that will end up on the carpet. There are a numerous amount of beddings, and it's pretty much, what are you looking for kind of a thing. Are you looking for a visually beautiful bedding? Are you looking for a functional bedding where it absorbs and reduces odors and all that kind of stuff? Just know, if you have a moderate, good size habitat cage for your guinea pig, you're going to be cleaning it out at least about once a month. Once a week. If you have multiple guinea pigs, okay, increase all that kind of a thing. There is products that you also can put in there to deodorize the habitat even more. And then we talked about potty training. You can actually potty train a guinea pig to go into a corner. They will naturally propagate there, but if you put a little bit of hay in a litter pan, they tend to take care of business right as they're eating and drinking and all that kind of stuff. So if you put a little bit of hay in the litter pan, they'll eat, take care of business, and slowly understand that that's where they need to go potty, which decreases the amount of maintenance that you would do. On to nutritional. You're going to start off with a staple food, and alfalfa hay. Alfalfa hay is higher in proteins for a young guinea pig, and then you're going to transfer over to Timothy hay at about 6 months, and other sorts of hays. At Petland, you're going to see an abundance of Timothy hay. We love Oxbow, the brand, but we have other brands as well. You're going to find Oxbow is exceptionally great for your guinea pig and other small animals. But know that just by getting Timothy hay, you want to also get a big bale of Timothy, but then a small amount of oat hay and other different types of grasses to keep that palette wide for your guinea pig, and just get some variety going in there. So always get a big bale of Timothy, but then get a small bale of one of the other types of grasses. When I say bale, I'm not talking a huge amount here. It's a small. We also have, Oxbow came out with more of a puck version. So if you don't like all the messy grasses kind of a thing hanging out in the habitat, or if you're seeing it around the house and you're like, gosh, how can I minimize that? They have now compressed the Timothy hay into a puck that the guinea pigs and rabbits and all really love, but you don't get all the mess with it. And it's a really wonderful product. We have that, and it sells really well for that purpose in our store. You're going to have a salt block in there, and we also have vitamins and other things for the guinea pig as well, and we'll talk with you about those when you come into the store. So that is a guinea pig. Is it the right pet for your family? Maybe this is where you're at. that concludes it. So we talked about the Shih Tzu. Is that the right breed if you're going for the dog for your family? I think it's a wonderful breed. And then, oh, you know what? My family's more on the guinea pig side or a small animal side or a lower maintenance kind of a thing. And that's where we're at today. Guinea pig might be the right pet for your family. So that's a wrap. Thank you, everybody.